Mr. Michael, are you on any drugs today or alcohol? Sure you understand what's going on, where you are?
Yes, Judge. I'm sitting on the edge of bed and I can sit up a little bit.
You're still what?
I'm sitting on the edge of bed. On the edge of a bed, I can sit up a little bit.
Okay, well, I'm just concerned about your slurred speech and your jerky movements there. That maybe you're under the influence of something.
Hard, I mean, but they actually, I did fall asleep, but I woke up before they came in here and told me I had to hurt.
I don't know that he's going to remember this.
This case is one for the books. A man arrived at court not just late, 2 full hours late, but clearly in no condition to be there. He appeared intoxicated, possibly from alcohol, drugs, or both, and acted as though everything was perfectly normal. And here's the wild part. The only reason he even made it to the courtroom at all was because 2 police officers had to go to his house and wake him up. They showed up just in time because the judge was seconds away from issuing a warrant for his arrest. It was that close. When he finally walked in, it was obvious he wasn't ready to be seen by anyone, let alone a judge. He looked completely disheveled, like he had just rolled out of bed after a rough night. He was unfocused.
You're mumbled.
Is it working yet?
No. Your audio is not your video.
Okay. Yeah, I've been on since 3:30. I didn't know my video was working.
Yeah, it doesn't count if you're not there when I call your name. You owe those officers that came by your house a debt of gratitude, or you'd be sitting in jail.
Yes, ma'am.
You thank them for coming by and making that public service to you.
Yes, ma'am. We're working now, ma'am.
I'm serious, Mr. Michael. You owe those gentlemen some gratitude.
For sure.
If they hadn't been willing to go by your house and wake you up, I would have just issued bench warrants.
Hey,
All right, let's get
my
on.
video is working, isn't it?
Let's get on with the order of business here. You were supposed to be here at 1:30 and it is now 3:05, and you wouldn't even be here now if the officers hadn't gone to your house or wherever you are and woke you up. Apparently you're not at home.
No, ma'am. Not until this court date, I hope.
Apparently they knew where to find you. So again, you're lucky in that respect. All right, we're going on the record now, sir. Are you awake?
Yes, ma'am.
You sure you understand what's going on, where you are?
Yes, Judge.
All right. We are on the record in 2023 CR 80 and 2023 CR 96, both captioned State of Kansas versus Jacob William Michael. The state appears by and through County Attorney Jill Gillette. Mr. Michael appears in person and pro se via Zoom. It is now 3:07 p.m. and he was to be here at 1:30. He called in and then apparently fell asleep and didn't answer. So the officers had to go by his home to try to find him, to wake him up.
Oh,
Couldn't find him, so they went to another location he might be at, and they found him and woke him up. This was a public service the officers did. They didn't have to, but they have saved bench warrants for Mr. Michael. Mr. Michael, you need to pick a location, stay seated, and keep your camera on you, please.
Disoriented and definitely not presenting himself the way one should in a courtroom. It's hard to pinpoint exactly what substance he was on, but whatever it was, it didn't help. Some viewers might even describe it as the kind of behavior you'd see from mixing all the wrong things at once. I'm curious what others think. What do you believe was affecting him that day? Because honestly, I'm still trying to figure it out. As the hearing continued, it only became more uncomfortable to watch. This man couldn't sit still. He was constantly shifting in his chair, moving around, twitching, almost like his body was on a loop that kept restarting. It was hard to focus on anything else in the room because his movements were so distracting. It got to the point where it seemed like he wasn't really aware of what was happening around him.
This is your first appearance in 2023 CR 80. In this case, the state is charging you In count one with domestic battery, that on or about the 22nd day of April, 2023, in Greenwood County, state of Kansas, you did unlawfully and intentionally cause physical contact with a family or household member in a rude, insulting, or angry manner, the family member being this. Okay, keep your camera where I can see you, please. Thank you. Thank you. As charged, this is a Class B person misdemeanor. There is a mandatory must serve 48 hours in jail up to 6 months. There is a mandatory minimum fine of $200 up to $1,000. Now, the court can waive the jail time if instead you do a certified domestic violence offender evaluation by a certified evaluator and comply with all the recommendations of that evaluation. In count two, sir, you're accused of disorderly conduct. The state is alleging that at that same date, you did use fighting words or engage in noisy conduct tending reasonably to arouse alarm, anger, or resentment in others, to wit, Aubrey Maxwell. This charge is a Class C misdemeanor. If convicted, you could serve another 30 days in jail and you could pay another fine of $500. In count three, you're charged with criminal damage to property. The state is alleging on that same date, you did, by means other than fire explosive, either damage or destroy or deface or substantially impair the use of property, to wit, a cell phone, in which another, to wit, Aubrey Maxwell, had an interest without her consent, and that the damage you did was under $1,000. As charged, this is a Class B non-person misdemeanor. You could serve another 6 months in jail and pay another $1,000 fine. Mr. Michael, do you have any questions about these charges or their possible penalties that I could help you with today?
No, ma'am. Other than the two last ones you said are new. I didn't get those ones until today. Or whatever. I mean, it don't mean anything. Just the others are new. I didn't understand what I had to do. But no, ma'am.
Mr. Michael, are you on any drugs today or alcohol?
No, ma'am. I'm sitting on the edge of bed and I can sit up a little bit.
You're still what?
I'm sitting on the edge of bed. On the edge of a bed, I can sit up a little bit.
Okay, well, I'm just concerned about your slurred speech and your jerky movements there. That maybe you're under the influence of something.
Ma'am.
I want to make sure you understand what you're doing today and what's being said.
Yeah, I do a lot today.
Okay, are the officers still with you?
I know they came hard. I mean, but they actually, I did fall asleep, but I woke up before they came in here and told me.
He looked like he was caught in some kind of mental fog, struggling to process what the judge was saying, unable to form a clear response, and at times seeming completely disconnected from reality. If someone is trying to prove to the court that they're mentally competent and capable of understanding the legal process, this is definitely not how to do it. Sitting there rocking back and forth, looking like he was waiting on hold with his own thoughts, didn't help his case at all. What was especially concerning was how he carried himself, as if this kind of behavior in a courtroom was normal. He gave off the impression of someone who had done this before. That kind of disregard for the seriousness of the situation. It's something judges and attorneys see from repeat offenders, not someone facing the court for the first time. Eventually, the situation hit a turning point. He began scratching himself excessively. His eyes were bloodshot, and he started moving.
All right, we're going to go on. 20 In 2023 CR 96, did you say the officers were still there?
No, ma'am, they're not.
Okay. In 2023 CR 80, you're charged in that case. That's one we just did. Excuse me just a moment. I'm going to take just a brief reset.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, where did he go? Ms. Gillette, do you want to unmute?
I don't know, Judge, but the officers are there outside his house, Bill.
Well, if he were in the courthouse in this condition, I would order him to be taken into custody and tested because I don't know that he's going to remember this hearing. So he's failing to appear. Can we just have him brought into custody and tested? And then if he's still, basically I'm issuing a bench warrant for his arrest. And if they'll bring him in and get him tested. And if he's sober, they can bring him back in front of me at the courthouse. If he's high, we're gonna have to wait until he comes out of it so that he'll know, because he's got to have a meaningful reading of rights and charges. And I just am afraid he's, like I said, not going to even remember this hearing.
So you want a bench warrant with the UA ordered?
We may even need something stronger than that. We can start from you.
I'll call the officers and I'll get that done, Judge.
Okay. Thank you.
Judge, he's on the phone and he's going to try to log back in.
Okay, well, I still want him to pick him up. So you say they're outside his house, just have him wait a minute, Missy, and don't tell him they're going to come in and get him because I don't want him to bolt on him. He's just not in any condition right now for first appearances. And he was ordered to be here.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm issuing a bench warrant for them to pick him up.
Okay. So do you want him to try to get back on or not?
No, he needs to be tested. I need to make sure he's sober enough to know what he's doing when we have these hearings. So, Ms. Gillette, at this time, I think we can recess these hearings until further notice.
Need me to come up to the courtroom, Judge, just have Missy get a hold of my offices. I'll stay here.
Moving in a way that made it clear his body was under serious stress. Whatever he had taken, or was still under the influence of, was having a very visible effect. This didn't look like a case of someone who had just had too much to drink. It seemed much more intense and dangerous. What was shocking was that he didn't even try to come up with an excuse. He didn't blame technology, didn't say he was having trouble connecting to the virtual hearing, didn't mention Wi-Fi problems. He just sat there, eyes glassy, shifting constantly, as if unaware he was being watched by the judge, the attorneys, and the public. To be honest, he looked like someone who had lost control of himself entirely. From the outside, it seemed like he was in the middle of a personal crisis, and doing it live on camera. After this display, the officers ended up taking him into custody for a brief period, likely to give him time to sober up and pull himself together. And yes, they literally had to wake him up at home that morning so he could attend the hearing in the first place. It's rare to see someone so far removed from the gravity of their own legal case.